Hey guys, welcome to another video on Crimson Desert where I just talk about everything that I did in the game. And this one is all about the stuff that I did up to the end of chapter 4. The previous videos before this one is in the description below, so if you're interested, it's in there. Anyway, spoiler alert. If you have not played the game or is playing the game but is not in chapter 4 yet, you might get spoiled here. Alright then, chapter 4, The Prize of Knowledge. The Greymanes celebrated the reunion that night and everyone is still out except Kliff, the main protagonist. I guess he's immune to alcohol. Then there's that explosion from a distance. That is probably the next destination, but for now, we then head out to explore. Stabbing the waterfall seems to let us pass through it. Weird way to get in behind waterfalls, but it works. Some other games would just let us pass through though, like in Skyrim. This place is called Starlight Storm Cave, and it has some treasure chests, refined armor spill, and the plate gloves of Fallen Kingdom. It's a glove with 2 abyss gears embedded in it, but there's not a unique one in it like in Horn Splitter Sword. Still cool looking gloves though. Haven't played the newer Zelda games, but spotting point of interest is always faster up some mountains. And here's another puzzle. This one looks like an Othello, an Atari game I used to play when I was a kid. Confusing, but are we supposed to be the white pieces here? To be honest, I don't really know what I'm doing. I think we're supposed to put all white pieces in place so that they will set all black pieces into white. In the game, it was supposed to flip automatically so that we'll know we did it correctly. This one is like the real world version of this board game. I'll just try putting most of the white pieces so that they will surround most of the black pieces for now. I can't really tell if what we're doing here is the right way, but all I did the whole time was switch each piece's position in an angle where I think the black pieces would be turned into white pieces. Honestly, the whole time I was just confused because there were no indicators if what we were doing was correct. Until it just happened. I somehow solved the puzzle. Well, shit. After that, we then arrived at the place of the explosion. It was caused by a kiln that exploded. Grimnir the dwarf was making something he described as a marvel of ancient craft. It's a thing that's big enough to swallow and hold large stones that one could still carry around without a problem. Sounds like a really useful item for exploration. First is fixing the ancient generator by lining up the flask-looking symbols through pushing or pulling to turn the device. When you line them up correctly, they will just glow bluish in color. Next was fixing the disconnected kiln by just connecting it back in place and then pushing the yellow painted lever. I guess there really is yellow paint in this game. We then went to fix the dismantled kiln by lining up the broken pieces and using Force Palm skill to stick them in place. That seems to conveniently work well. Then push the yellow painted lever again to make it work. The last kiln needs to be loaded with fuel. Found a small cave with the fuel needed but explored it first before bringing it. Well, it's just a cave full of copper minerals. I was expecting more like a treasure chest, but it's still perfect for getting copper ore for weapon crafting or refinement. I do wonder what the cave drawings are for and what they really mean. We then took the fuel outside and put it in. The other 2 are just near the kiln. The 4th one is in the water, fished it out and put it in. And the last one is an eyeball of an ancient bird statue by the pond. Last fuel is now secured and time to push the lever to turn the kiln on. Everything is now set to make the ancient tool. We head back to Grimnir and he said to be back in a day when it's ready. The next day, he was so excited to reveal it and asked us to get the mysterious pot ourselves by pushing the lever to open the hatch. And it just went and popped out of there like a cartoon character. I guess this thing is called the cuckoo pot. It can contain large objects or relics that is mostly needed for puzzle solving or something in the future in which I still can't tell what for. Carl asked us to deliver some hide as a gift at the tannery because he heard they were short on supplies and it will benefit us in the future if we help them. Found a volume 2 crafting book about leather armors inside his home too. Ross then sent us on an errand to ask someone in the apothecary about the bandits that has been harassing them. Teleported through Abyss Nexus near the Bismuth with abyssal monsters and finally defeated those pesky things. Arrived at the apothecary and asked the guy about the bandits. house. He said he would send word right away when they come back. This guy is fascinated with water, just like that dude who likes the water in Crimson Desert.
It's just amazing, isn't it?
Oh nice, good thing he left the recipe for his herbal tea. This could be useful. Well, I'll just help myself and borrow things inside the house. Went back to the Azurite ore vein around the Red Devil area and found this wonderful spot with fast travel and an artifact fragment. What a wonderful view. Found another puzzle while exploring, and this one was just kind of annoying, but just a little. The way to solve it is simple. You just stab the pedestal and push or pull it to turn, and the pillar will then also ascend or descend depending on the direction of pushing or pulling. Took a while to solve it, as you can see. Well, it's another fast travel point unlocked. Funny how I didn't notice this guy last time I was in Halsh's church. Encamped, Andrew is looking for Jan, who wandered off somewhere again. Dwayne then interrupted and told us that Jan is being held at the fighting pit, so we have to go and save his ass now. Again. To get him, the guards at the fighting pit laid out a condition to participate in the contest and get the people hyped for betting and get the profit they lost because of Jan causing an uproar during the finals of the brawler contest. This is an unarmed minigame where you could only use fists and no weapons or kicks. The UI looks just like a fighting game. 3 matches of ass whooping would get Jan out of prison, which was too damn easy, and we got Jan out of there in no time. For a Greymane, Jan is quite a headache. According to him, he was trash-talking the finalists in the match and he got in their nerves and told him to get in the match himself, which escalated into Jan being ganged up by people there for being disrespectful and more. After bringing Jan back to camp, I went back to the fighting pit to do 4 matches and defeat the champion. This will fulfill the challenge and get us an artifact. Well now, again with this random NPCs giving you tutorial messages when you already know of them. We didn't talk to Naira and Dwayne. Dwayne is asking for help because Naira is laughing so hard and won't let go of how bad Dwayne's archery was. He didn't ask us to join an archery contest for him to shut off Naira for good. How does that even work if he doesn't win archery himself? I don't know. He just went back and told Kliff he would just go and challenge Naira in a swords fight instead. I borrowed some useful stuff inside his house. There's this treasure chest that holds the Wandu, a 2-handed sword. Went inside a noble's manor and there is a memory fragment here about some strangers talking about how to eradicate the bleed bandits. It's nice to see some noble officials actually doing their job for protecting the citizens in this game instead of scheming for corruption and all that. Also found Runed large shield inside his treasury and a bunch of sellable stuff. I did not intend to do this guy's quest but accidentally talked to him about it while I was looking to buy from him. He just directly sent us in an errand to ask his friend to promote his shop. Went outside the shop and suddenly an NPC just bumped us and gave a letter from Alliston. Strange way to receive a message from the old man as always. This letter though is the lead to the next part of the main quest. Arrived at the Golden Fist Arena and told the shopkeeper's friend about advertising his shop in the fighting pit. The guy agreed, seeing that a friend is asking for a favor. The letter from Alliston, by the way, told us about this fence in Hernan and that he has the items that the old man prepared for us. The items were scholars' robes for the Escala Stone Institute. I guess that is the next destination and a place to infiltrate. Before proceeding with the main quest, we just have to settle a lot of stuff in the camp first. Marius is looking for us to find some Greymane survivors he heard about. Ronald asked for some timber to make into signboards to let people know we are short on supplies. We already have those timbers, so we just gave it to him. Naira and Andrew is quarreling about Naira being so stubborn about something. She just has that soft heart for animals like dogs and cats on the streets and wants to help them and bring them to camp to take care of them and feed them, but it's hard for a wandering free sword to do it cause they're always away for work. She did ask Kliff to do it for her, but how is that any different from her? It's like she knows. Like a fourth wall break, that Kliff has a player that could do all of these stuff, even take care of animals without feeding them.
Fourth wall break.
Nah, it's just a game mechanic introduction for a pet system. Gotta catch them all, right? Naira did share some stuff about her being an orphan child akin to a cornered wolf cub. She was always butting heads with the others when they were kids. She then left us halfway to Hernan to do something else, and since it's close, we ended up liberating this fishing dock. There is a salt roasted fish recipe here too. We met up with Naira in Hernan and she passed on the responsibility of taking care of a dog to us. And that is how we unlock the pet system in the game.
Who's gonna miss me while I'm gone, huh?
Petting the dog will increase their trust value by 5 and somehow 20 if you feed them food. The pet will be very helpful in picking up dropped items of the enemies. And here is the start of the pet collection quest. Jan suspiciously asked to wait for him near the Naz River, and he arrived with a stolen wagon from some bandits. He boasted about this wagon carrying expensive howl that could feed the entire camp and then some. Turns out, the item it carried was useless, so we are just tasked now to sell the wagon to a fence just to get some decent penny out of it. Near the wagon fence, there is this memory fragment about a mother and a son. The son is being taken to Halsha's church to get cured, but we know that her son is probably brainwashed now. Inside their abandoned home is a letter of the mother regretting what happened and seeks forgiveness from her son. Sad ending and all that. Went back to camp and saw Naira persuading Andrew to get his clothes dyed for a fresh new look. She then taught us how to make dyes and where to dye our clothes, weapons, shields, or armor. It's time to get a fresh, colorful new look here. I guess we'll just have a combination of red, black, and white for now. Jan is drunk again, complaining about being cheated in gambling at Hernand. He asked Kliff to try gambling there and prove he is right about the cheating going on. We then went there and tried it. Playing duo minigame is a bit tricky at first, but the game do tell which one is higher or lower than the other. Although, I did save scump a few times until found a way to win consecutively in one session and left to tell Jan about winning. And he just found another excuse to drink again in the guise of celebrating. Andrew made some children cry because he does not want them using a bow and hurt themselves in the process. But Dwayne wants to train the kids to archery, and Andrew opposed for they lack guidance and another accident might occur, just like when they were with a kid that he vaguely recalled. Andrew is not truly against it, so he then thought of making a bow for the kids and gave us a sketch of a bow and asked to deliver it to the blacksmith. It's also not that surprising that the mysterious night merchant from Black Desert Online is here in the game visiting the camp at night with his goods in tow. He does sell some useful stuff, especially the Abyss artifact. We then stumbled upon Ian at the Hernand farmhouse looking at a certain wanted poster. He swore he knew this guy when he was in Halsha's church and was talking about getting him for the reward. He's not worth that much, but it's an honest work.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
And here we are back at Halsha's again. But the guy we're looking for is nowhere to be found during this time of day. I guess it is too early in the morning. After a few minutes, he showed up inside some building dressed as one of the priests there. Finally caught him and turned him for the bounty. Went back to camp only to find Naira and Jan having a hangover for drinking their ass off at some tavern. They put their tab in Marius's name and he caught on to them and made them chop some wood to pay for it themselves. And now these were including us in their blunder saying, "We're family" kind of shit.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Jan brought us to the logging site but forgot his axe, so he made an excuse to go back to camp and get it. He would probably just wander off again and leave us to deal with this ourselves. So we cut some wood, as many as we could, because some of it could be useful to upgrade a bow or shield. Then went back to Marius to give him the wood and only to find out that Jan really did wander off again to drink. While exploring towards the direction of the next quest, there is this fountain puzzle. It's simple, you just stab a hole in each fountain with a sword and turn it until the water is pouring into the pond. The other one is already pouring into the pond, so we just do the same process twice and wait for the water mill to spin and show the reward of the puzzle. Another artifact and fast travel point unlocked. Also, liberated this Inverness beacon occupied by the Bleed Bandits along the way. It was definitely back-breaking for the enemy. Found a secret waterfall cave too, the Cascade Grotto, which has a treasure chest that contains the Scorched Flame leather boots. Cool name for boots really. But sadly it does not contain any unique Abyss gear in it. I was so looking forward to it. Man, I just can't believe Dwayne and the others went to the hostile land of Demonese just to have a quarrel about horseback riding.
Help me!
I got attacked by a dozen of Demonesian soldiers with large shields, man. Can't even really run away because there is a sealed artifact here that I have to get. That was a tough fight, but finally managed to get the item. Made it to where Dwayne and the others are, only to hear him talking about Kliff being really bad at horseback riding. Then he challenged us to horseback riding to prove his points. I guess I was right. Lost the race here. Probably not on Kliff, but me, the player. Well, that sucks. This is quite a routine when playing this game, setting out on a quest and exploring the areas while going towards the said quest. Investigated a rumor at the heels of no return and saw Jan talking with the other Greymane survivors. We convinced them to join the camp and gained 4 more companions now. Near the area just southwest from where we found the 4 surviving Greymanes, there is a cave with a memory fragment outside. They were talking about a legendary wolf. I wonder if this wolf they are referring to is a mount we could tame. Also, there's nothing much in the cave except for some normal chests and prison cages. There is this cluster of garnet ore veins in Sage's Peak 2 and an abyss nexus at the very top. Talked to Marius again in the camp and he had some good news. The word is spreading that the Greymanes are gathering at Howling Hill and he's doing his best to find them. Marius found more rumors and led us to Glenbright Farm to find 3 more survivors. After talking to Marius again, the tutorial on how to do mission dispatch popped in. There are currently 6 Greymanes that could be dispatched for work at the moment, but I just ignored it for now. Talked to Tranan, the weapons and armor shopkeepers, about a certain blacksmith in Hernand, whom he wants to see his forged blade and learn how his craftsmanship works. We just went and bought the said blacksmith's sword that is already for sale in Hernand and gave it to him. I then tried the mission dispatch and sent at least 2 Greymanes who knows logging wood just to test it out. Went on my way again to look into a rumor in Ivanuk village and found an NPC by the road saved by the said Greymanes. Arrived at the village and listened to a memory fragment of William Midler doing a speech about taking down the so-called Stag Lord and his followers. Then talked to the 3 Greymanes in the village and told them about the camp. Back in the camp, Pierce asked us to try and play duo minigame again, just to measure how good the opponents are in Hernand.
Oh shit, here we go again.
The first game was just 1 opponent and I caught him cheating. I guess the way to know how an opponent cheats in this game is when they pick up the sticks while their elbow is lowered. As you can see here, he got his hands smashed. I guess he won't be playing the game again anytime soon. I just roamed around Hernand a little bit to wait for the opponents to arrive for the next game of duo. And now, time for another round of duo. This one is not cheating with the way he pulls out the sticks. This fat guy here on the other hand cheated. As you can see, he's pulling the sticks while his elbow is lowered. Caught him in the act. Goodbye fingers for him, and his money will be spread amongst the remaining players. The game continued for a while with me winning a little bit from time to time, until another NPC tried cheating too. I guess this here is the fastest way to win over all the money of the opponents. The game continued for a bit with just the 2 of us left on the table, but this final opponent could not resist cheating. It is easier to spot the NPCs that are cheating now at this point, and with that, Kliff is the only one left on the table.
I've won.
We then head back to camp and told Pierce about how bad the opponents are in duo. Talked to Evelyn and just gave her 20 arrows she needed for something. We then talked to Devon about him wanting to build a monument to remember the fallen Greymanes. Just gave him the sturdy stones he wanted and off he goes. Talked to Bryce too about building a wagon for trading and he told us to ask the workshop. Went to the workshop and talked to a dwarf about how to build a sturdy wagon. We can't really build a wagon for now because the most expensive one needs 10 Greymanes to be deployed to do it. And we only found 9 of them that can be used for dispatch missions. Did another Hernand commission for a horse shopkeeper Bruna and she wants us to find her customer just to ask him about what he thinks of her products. This is such a ridiculous errand where we are just left with letters to go from point to point, which is kind of stupid, only to find a guy inside some noble's manor which we are not allowed to go in yet. Well, not from the front door for now. Through the window on the 2nd floor of the building, there is this easy strongbacks puzzle. You just turn the tiles until you complete the image of a fairy with butterfly wings. Inside is another engraved earring. Finally got 2 gold earrings with movement speed stats. Also found this volume 2 crafting book about 2-handed weapons. There is also this fireplace with a hidden item that could only be stolen. I can't really do much about it for now because there are people around. Nah, still went in there and grabbed the item, which is a really expensive gold bar. Went to jail for that with nothing to show for. I'll definitely get it next time. Back at the manor, we talked to the dwarf about the thing that Bruma made, and he said it was,
I mean, it's alright.
well, I still can't find a way to get that gold bar. I'll really be back for it. Now, in the Gold Leaf Guild camp, Ugman the Goblin asked to check on the honey supplier because his customers said the honey tastes different than usual. Fast traveled near the quest area but decided to check out the nearby cave Whispering Grotto. Inside is a treasure chest with a desk fang leather armor. Arrived at the Fallen Guard apiary and the beekeeper insisted there is nothing wrong with their honey and it must have something to do with the guild's storage methods. Back in the Gold Leaf Guild camp again, Shakatu needs our help on investigating a traitor within the guild. Their trade sites have been targeted lately by bandits and he thinks someone is leaking information to them. Someone who could be loyal to the dead horn splitter and just wants to ruin him and the guild. He then gave us a ledger that contains their drawn images and position in the guild, like this is gonna help. First person of interest was Nugel, who is stationed in the guild. He said the only time he let out something important would be during drinks with Grimzel. That is a good lead to start with. Next was a Scrab who thinks it is the trade manager Nugel who gave those bandits the confidential info. Talked to the guards who guarded Grimzel's place that night and said a strange thing happened where the ledger at Grimzel's house disappeared. But none of the guards saw anyone enter the residence. Went to Bloomwood Ranch and talked to the horse manager that interacted with the masked men who were asking for horses and recognized one of them whom he saw in the Gold Leaf Guild. Arrive at Grimzel's residence and talk to him about the stolen ledger, and he eagerly points out that it could have been Scrab because he saw him going towards his place at that time. Finally, we went back to Shakatsu to piece together all the information we've gathered. Beak's horse hire ledger listed a member of the guild. Scrab's trade schedule logs is also suspicious. Nugel testified that he shared trade information to Grimzel over a drink. Grimzel has a proof of stay, which means he has stayed inside his home that night. And lastly, guards swore they saw no one enter the house and it would be impossible to bribe all of them. All the testimonies points out to Grimzel being the most suspicious of them. Went to his place and caught the traitor red-handed, trying to make a deal again with a stranger. After delivering the culprit to Shakatsu, we accepted another commission from a tailor who just wants to deliver her work in a hurry to a noble because it got delayed. Just near the noble, in the Bluemont Manor just below, we went inside to find the strongbox with a puzzle. It was really showing on the minimap, that's why we went. It's one of those pillar thing puzzles again. Solving this thing takes a bit of time going back and forth, just turning the device up or down and switch to check if the pillars are lining up. When it opened, the strongbox contained a finely crafted gold necklace with attack and critical rate stats. This will be a good accessory if only I had gold ores to refine it to at least a level 4. At the back of the manor, there is this memory fragment of an addicted servant who killed another servant. He's accusing her of stealing his dreamer's bliss, probably the drug that got him addicted. This might be connected to that wanted person on the bounty poster. Well, that was kind of realistic. Anyway, I befriended a cult-paid military dog Boarhound. Look at him and his bow and arrows. Simply adorable. Went back to the Linecrest Manor where the gold bar was and finally found the right timing to get it. Hell yeah. Then from there directly went to the bank to invest it. 1 gold bar can be converted to 500 silver. Just buying a personal strongbox permit here is very expensive. 100 silver, huh? This banking mechanic of the game is interesting though, but I'll just choose the default investment strategy for now. That if I save enough silver to get it, that permit was something. Good thing the bank let me borrow their stuff and it's enough now to get me started on that investment scheme they got going on here. Anyway, while out exploring, we saved this NPC from bandits. He was very grateful. They gave us wood. Wow. Oh well, might as well help myself with some wood. Made it to Prox the Goblin Merchant, who commissioned a request to deliver the list of possible suspects on the counterfeits of their products that's been circulating lately to the investigator in the guild. Sounds easy enough for an errand boy. Unlock the housing mechanic by Luke's request to put a bunch of flowers inside an abandoned house to remove the pungent smell. I wonder who could have owned this house. Maybe one of those goblins from the Gold Leaf Merchant Guild. In Hernan, there is this lazy-ass NPC who can't even buy a jar from a shop that is just a few steps away from him.
You serious?
The tavern lady sent us to collect some debt and thought it might come to some beating if the guy does not pay up. Nah, he just paid the 10 coppers he was owed. This goblin merchant here just wants to relay a message to the guildhouse about his dangerous situation. While at the merchant guild, tried stealing one of their horses. I thought this could be registered as a new mount. I just don't know how to do it at this point. We will just go back to catching horses in the wild for now. With all the shenanigans that I've been doing, I finally remembered about the cave near the camp around where the puzzle was. It's a diamond mineral mine and it's all mine. Also, I checked out the location on the X marks on the map inside the puzzle room. Just got curious for some reason. They really are clues on how to answer the puzzle painted on the side of the mountain. Fascinating. But what's more surprising is the diamond mineral mine located in between the two marks. This dwarf just asked me to test the grindstone if it's working or not. I guess this is the game's way of reminding people about the grinding stones and anvils buff if they ever missed it. Back in Hernan, Leon Roberts asked us to check on the southern fort of his territory because he haven't heard any reports from them lately. Something bad definitely happened to them, and it was already completely occupied by the Bleed Bandits. Just went from camp after camp to liberate each one and free some captives along the way, and also getting more of those artifacts from defeating a lot of those bandits. It is also good to know that small camps have some free cooking ingredients like salt, water, cooking oil, and sugar. And if there's a chest, gives you free food. Near Fort Pywel, there is the cave echoing tunnel with a treasure chest that contains the Dark Ringleader's cloth cloak inside. Liberating the whole southern fort took a while, so I explored some interesting areas around it and found this puzzle. I took several attempts to see how it actually works. It's like those puzzles in Zelda games or Pokemon games where you just step on the right tiles to get to the glowing tile. The first set of tile puzzle was easy and straightforward because there is only one glowing tile. The second set of tiles have 6 glowing tiles this time. Each tile are a pair of symbols you have to connect now until you get to the last pair of tiles connected while stepping on the tiles without moving back. Or just follow what I did if you're confused with my explanation. Now for the third set of glowing tiles, same thing to do here, but there are 9 of them this time. I guess we'll just have to be careful not to go in the wrong direction or step on the tiles we've been through. Well, finally made it to what seems to be the last area to liberate. Interesting enough, there is a mini-boss of some sort here. It's like a floating cube that emits a red poisonous mist. This thing is annoying to fight, and I tried several ways to exploit some weakness. Tried pulling it with action force and it worked. Somehow it was its weakness. I guess the thing was something that came out from the abyss. It's a power core for something we don't even know yet. The area is finally liberated. Time to report back to Leon Roberts. We just asked if there was anything odd in the place, and there were definitely several of them. We accepted a dispatch mission on rebuilding that one house who got hit by a huge artifact from the sky. The Gameister does do it in real time. Sadly, I don't have the patience to time-lapse it. Traveled near the fort that was just liberated and found this abandoned house with the memory fragment of some lunatic who massacred their family and neighbor to sacrifice them to an entity of darkness. Yeah, those kinds of bullshit. At last, it's finally time to do the main quest and continue the game's narrative. This is such an interesting way to go to the Skullstone Institute, and I wonder if you could just climb over the mountain to get there. Never really tried it here. Before going to the Institute, I did explore a lot of the spots in the area, including bismuth mining and locating some abyss nexus. We then found this cave under the Everfrost Basin with the treasure chest that has the reindeer cloak. It gives 5 levels of protection from cold. Really useful when exploring cold environment. There are also several of these Corunzo ruins pillar around the area in which I still don't know what to do with them, so I just stored them in the cuckoo pot. When I got contented with exploring the area, I went and spoke to the guide, Grimrick. Maybe it's possible to just skip this guy and go straight to the dean of the school. He was just showing the way and where the dean was located, but the map was already pointing us there. Talked to the Dean Grundier and told him Alliston sent us to look into some strange energy coming from the Institute. After having a walk and a few conversations with the Dean, he introduced us to Dr. Otto Octavius.
How are you?
He is preparing to control the power of the Abyss on the palm of his hands.
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
The next day, he did a speech about something that does not really interest us. After that, he asked to activate the lock device switch, which is another goddamn puzzle. Good thing it's just a simple button pushing and makes all the tile symbols glow. The next task was inserting all 4 batteries into the pillars using force palm to shove them in place. It is time for him to harness the power now. Surely there won't be anything bad that will happen, just like in the movies, right? Yeah, it was obviously going to happen.
It'll soon stabilize!
Used action force to destroy the orb, and Octavius still insists on completing his work. Then he got sucked into the abyss and an unknown floating dark fog came out after. It's attacking anyone in its vicinity. Then a tutorial about blinding flash that spots weakness. A confusing mechanic, but I guess you just hit the spot that is indicated by the square thing. The weakness seems to be nature element like force bomb or something. It is tricky to hit it while in midair, but it does a lot of damage when the weak point is hit. After dealing with a mini-boss of some sort, a tall tower up the mountain shot a beam of light to the sky. The Dean then asked us to investigate the tall tower called the Spire of the Stars. So, there is no puzzle needed to the entrance to open the door. The key thing that the Dean gave us was the key to just open it. The puzzle here shows 4 shapes with different elevation. The elevation is indicated by the 4 small yellow colored dots. The circle is on the 3rd dot from the bottom. The square is at the very bottom. The hexagon is at the very top, and the triangle is at the 2nd dot from the bottom. We used the same engraved stone that the Dean gave us to activate the device. This one is empty, so there is only 3 gravestones to retrieve. We can get them by using force palm on the pressure plate to activate the device and show the engraved stones. We will then insert it to the intended slots except for the circle because it is already in place as some kind of a bonus clue. Just like the circle, we don't have to move the hexagon one for it is also already in the right place. Now, we just lower the square to the bottommost level and the triangle to the 2nd level just like what the clues have shown. This will then activate the elevator and take us up to the tower. I thought there would be more puzzles above the tower, but there is just this teleportation portal that takes us into the abyss here. We teleported at the Sanctorum of Insight in the abyss, and Dr. Octavius is by the entrance. His last words were, "Stop him tearing open the rift," and he got spirited away. There is not much of a puzzle here except for this interesting transport device. Anyway, here at the top, I guess we just force bomb this thing downward to activate it. And then a mysterious old man appeared at the center spouting nonsense and blown us away. He didn't took the abyss crystal for himself, damn it. I worked hard to try and get that. We landed back at the institute real confused. Then we just told the Dean and the others about what happened up there. The Dean then said he will halt all research about the abyss and will focus on trying to find Dr. Octavius and investigate that mysterious old man. We then went back to the camp to take a rest. Meanwhile, in Hernand, the first day of Harvest Festival banquet is being held, and a battering ram looking package is being presented, maybe as a gift. And with that marks the end of the 4th chapter of the main story. This chapter opened up a lot of stuff, with the game showing more mechanics like developing Greymane camp, pets, housing, and probably more to complement them. Most of us probably played more than 12 hours at this point and got used to the clanky control of the game, which made combat and exploration more fun. And also the puzzles that use the character's skills like force palm or action force by now too. But of course, that depends on the players whether they like puzzles or not. There are tutorials on how to solve them anyway. Exploring Hernan alone made me realize the game is big and packed with a lot of content. I'm afraid I might not leave Hernan even after 80 hours at this point. Also, at the end of the day, it does make me think that the $70 was well spent in this game. It made me feel the open world itch again. So yeah, how was it for you when you play this game of this magnitude? I mean, haters gonna hate because obviously this game is not for everyone. And I do respect that. Anyway, Do tell me what you think about this video on the game down below. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to give me inspiration to make more videos like this. See ya.